Okay, chapter 21. Only a short one today, so we're going to read all of chapter 21 and then half of chapter 22. Okay, 21, mix and match. I got back into bed, careful not to wake Kat. I munched on my crisps, letting them soften in my mouth before I bit into them so as to make less noise. Quietly, I got out the list of theories and the photos. I thought. I bunched up the washing line photos and put them on the desk. Then I went back through the others. I finished one packet of crisps and opened a second. Halfway through the packet, I stopped munching and stared. I looked at another shot and stared at that too. Cat! I hissed. I shook her shoulder hard. She raised herself from the pillow, holding her head between her hands. Oh, what a dream. What is it? She blinked at me from the lilo. The strange man, Cat, I said. The man who sold us the ticket. She shook her head. Yeah. She yawned. This is what it sounded like. What about him? I found him, I squeaked. Kat's eyes went round and she looked confused, so I showed her the photo that I'd taken, the one that had gone wrong, with the headless bodies. I pointed to a torso of a man with a jacket flapping over a t-shirt. That's him, I said. How do you know? He just looks like someone in a crowd, and anyway, what's he got to do with it? Maybe nothing, maybe everything. Kat put her head to one side, like I do sometimes, because it helps you to think. My theory is that it allows blood to pour into the side of your brain that you need for whatever bit of thinking it is you have to do. The right hand side is for logical deduction and analytical thinking, and the left hand side is for creative thought. And I think it's from that side that the inspiration comes from. It was odd the way he came up to us, Kat said. You could say suspicious, or maybe just coincidence. She picked up the picture and looked at it. Don't say you remember him just from that. You never notice what people wear. No, not from that picture on its own, Kat, but look at this one too. I showed her the photo taken just before by Salim. Salim had snapped one of the eye, but lopped the top part off because he was too close. In the foreground was part of the queue and various bystanders. When you looked really hard at the individual people in it, you could see the head and shoulders of a man facing towards the camera. It was only the size of a pea, but enough of the face was recognisable. That's him, I said. Kat looked hard. You're right, Ted. It is him. She took the other photo. That is head and shoulders, and this is his chest and trousers. They match. I got a magnifying glass out of my desk drawer. We looked at the pictures together. It was a game of mix and match, head and tail, fitting together things that belonged. A jigsaw. There's something written on his t-shirt, Kat said, peering through the glass. Can't make it out. An O and a T for sure. The rest is blurred. She looked at me. You know, Ted, this might be a breakthrough. She clapped me on the shoulder so hard I coughed. Tomorrow, I'm going to go back to the Photoshop with the negatives. I'm going to ask them to blow up the two shots. But Ted, don't say anything to anyone about this. What about my man? She'd only ignore us if we tried to explain. No, I'm following up this lead on my own. Not on your own, Kat. She clapped me on the shoulder again. With you, Ted. Of course. We'll figure out what it says on the t-shirt, and maybe, just maybe, we'll track him down. I was so excited I forgot to Ted, can't start to say it, but you're a genius. She grabbed the packet of crisps I'd been eating and scoffed the lot. Okay, so a bit of a breakthrough in chapter 21. So, just thinking forward, what are those photos going to show? Do we think that that is suspicious, the man giving them a ticket, or just a coincidence? So, if you've got any ideas, any predictions, I'd like to hear those through the Class Dojo. Send me a message or comment on one of your previous guided reading posts. Okay, so let's read a little bit of chapter 22 as well. So, chapter 22, word game. We slept for what was left of the night. When I woke up, freshening winds had moved in from the west. Light rain pattered on the window. The lilo on the floor was empty. I imagined where the clue of the strange men with the ticket might lead and how it might fit in with the theories left on the list, depending on how you look at it. I remember my thoughts from the night before about how things can go clockwise and anti-clockwise at the same time. There was a tangle in my head. Kat came in, wriggling into her fur-collared jacket. It was tight for her. First one arm, then the other went up into the air as she squeezed into the sleeves. I'm off, Ted, she whispered, to get the photos blown up before anyone notices. Back in an hour. She put her fingers to her lips, picked up the photo packet containing the negatives and went out. I looked across my desk. The photos of the clothes on the washing line were scattered over it, and I could see jumbled images of Dad's tartan shirt pinned up by the shoulders and cuffs. Dad. I looked across at my desk. The photos of the clothes on the washing line were scattered over it, and I could see the images of Dad's tartan shirt pinned up by the shoulders and cuffs, and Mum's black long-sleeve t-shirt upside down, and Kat's school shirt, and Dad's boxer shorts, and 3 of Mum's bras and my pyjamas. I put the photos into a tidy pile and I lay back on my pillow. The cool air from the front across London fanned my forehead. I imagined the weather satellite picture, a jumble of patchy cloud, looking like the jumble in my brain. That's what I need, I thought, a bird's eye view, from a satellite. A geostationary satellite, 36,000 kilometres above the Earth, can beam down images in a second. It measures the heat of the clouds and the surface temperature of the sea. It tells meteorologists what's happening and can help them to understand approaching weather systems and make predictions. Then I remembered. Even a geostationary satellite can be 2 things at once, still or moving. It stays in the same place in relation to the Earth's surface, but only because it orbits at the same speed as the Earth's spin. Clockwise or anti-clockwise, male or female, half empty or half full, stationary or moving, depending on how you look at it. I groaned and dug my head with its swirling brainwaves under the pillow. Mum and Aunt Gloria's voices called up and down the stairs. There was no sound of Dad's voice. My clock said 9:02, which meant he had gone to work. Then Rashid's voice came up from the kitchen. I smelled toast. An hour went by. I got dressed. I put on the shirt I'd worn the day before and the day before that, but I didn't think Mum would notice. At 10:05, I crept out onto the landing, just as Kat's shape appeared through the frosted glass of the front door. It opened slowly. Kat was sneaking in with her key. She saw me at the top of the stairs and put her finger to her mouth again, but Mum must have heard her. She appeared from the kitchen before Kat could get up the stairs. Where have you been, Kat? I didn't say you could wander off when you felt like it. Hi, Kat, I said. Did you get it? Kat stared at Mum and then at me. My compass, I said. I went downstairs and tapped Mum on the elbow. I think I dropped it out of my jacket pocket yesterday. Kat said she'd have a look in the front garden for me. Oh, Mum said. She ruffled my hair. I didn't know you'd lost it. Sorry, Kat. I thought you'd just gone off somewhere. Did you get it? No, Kat said. I hunted around the bushes, nothing. It was only a cheap one, I said, but good at tracking wind direction. Maybe, Mum said, when all this is over, she paused and shook her head. If this is ever over, we'll get you a new one. And something for Kat too. If you both stay quiet and calm while all this... She stopped, shrugged, shook her head and returned to the kitchen. Kat looked at me. I looked at her. Go, Ted, Kat whispered. She punched me in the arm so hard I nearly fell down the stairs. Never thought I'd see the day. You lied. She went upstairs to my room and Kat took out the large card envelope that she had been stuffed up her front. The man in the shop, she said. He knows me now. He blew up the pictures for me in less than an hour. Here they are. She ripped the seal and took out 2 large prints. One was of a strange man who sold us the ticket. His face was blurred but recognisable, with his stubbly chin, dark eyebrows and high forehead. He squinted into the light. The other was of 3 torsos, but the middle one was his. You could recognise the shabby leather jacket, a hairy neck, a black t-shirt or sweatshirt, and his fingers with a roll-up cigarette in them. The jacket was open and flapping. We could see some of what was written on the shirt in white lettering. ONTLIECUR. The beginning and end of the 2 words were cut off by the jacket. A word game, Kat murmured. Okay, we're going to leave it there today. So, what I'd like you to think about, what could those letters be? What could those 2 words be? What are your ideas that they could be? And we'll find out tomorrow when we continue reading the book.